So here after the basic knowledge, I want you to think about 阅读报纸的意义和价值. Okay, the meaning, the significance and value of reading newspaper. And so normally, basically, people would just regard it as 传递信息, transmitting and delivering messages, 了解世界, getting to know this world. So, newspaper has been the most conventional and popular medium of conveying local, regional, national, and international news to the readers, and newspapers serve as the latest happenings in different parts of the world through a network of correspondents and news agencies. But that's more kind of very normal and simple opinions always being held by people. 好，但是 however, 新闻往往不等于事实。等于 equal 事实 fact. News is often not equal to the facts. 也不等于真相，真相 truth, nor is it equal to the truth. 新闻常常掺杂着，掺杂 mix, mingle, 掺杂着什么呢？掺杂着某些观点、想法，还有倾向性。So news is often mixed with certain opinions, thoughts, and tendencies. 倾向性 tendency, 想法 thought, 观点 opinion. 我们很难看到绝对客观的新闻。It is difficult for us to see 绝对的 absolutely 客观的 objective. So it's difficult for us to see absolutely objective news. First of all, we have 新闻的选择性 selection of news. So right at this moment, this second, this minute, there are numerous number of events going on just in your immediate environment. However, reporters only choose what they think important or interesting to report. Different reporters have different selections, choices, and decisions on what to report. Different events being reported on different newspapers can reflect and show preferences and biases of different reporters. And secondly, various emphasis, angles, and perspectives. So, emphasis 重点 angle 角度 perspective 视角 So here, even if different reporters choose the same items to report, 所以即使不同的报道者选择了同一则新闻的 same items to report, they might hold different standpoints and viewpoints. Standpoints 立场 and viewpoints point of views 观点。Because of their own backgrounds, 背景，他们各自不同的背景 notions, 信念 and concepts, 观念。Besides, the narrative ways of telling one same story and presenting one same item can also be different. 所以这里涉及到叙事方法。So here, it's relevant to some narrative telling stories ways and methodologies. So for this part, we will attach much importance on this part to see the essence, the essential features of news, 新闻的本质何在. And here we will analyze two important examples. One is about how different reporters reporting on a shocking news, also horrible case. The other one is about an African girl talking about how Western newspapers shaping an image of her own country. And for the first example, I want you to think about what aspects different reporters emphasize on. For the second example, I want you to think about what's the relationship between news and politics in current world, in nowadays society. We can lead to a conclusion. In conclusion, the reporters are not just reporting facts or informing people of latest events. They're trying to affect how people think and act. And besides, we need to pay attention on another thing. News can also be relevant to a country's power and international influence. So here I would like to share with you another example. It is an African girl's words. She has been living in Europe and North America for many years. And when she was talking about her own living abroad experience, she mentioned the danger of repeating a single story again and again. She said, when I left Nigeria to go to university in America, my American roommate was shocked by me. She asked where I had learned to speak English so well and was confused when I said Nigeria happened to have English as its official language. She asked if she could listen to what she called my tribal music, and was consequently very disappointed when I was produced my tape of Mariah Carey. After I spent some years in America, Canada, and European countries as an African, I began to understand my roommate's response to me. If I had not grown up in Nigeria, and if all I knew about Africa were from popular images, I too would think Africa was a place of beautiful landscapes and animals, but incomprehensible people, fighting senseless wars, dying of poverty and AIDS, unable to speak for themselves and waiting to be saved by a kind white foreigner. So that is how to create a single story. Show a people as one thing, as only one thing over and over again, and that is what they become. I've always felt it is impossible to engage properly with a place or a person without engaging with all of stories of that place and that person. The consequence of telling a single story is it robs people of dignity. It makes our recognition of our equal humanity difficult. It emphasizes how we are different rather than how we're similar. Stories matter. Many stories matter. Stories have been used to dispossess and to malign, but stories can also be used to empower and to humanize. Stories can break the dignity of a people, but stories can also repair that broken dignity. Okay, so what is the conclusion of all of those words from an African girl's mouth? So we can see because of culture and the economical power of Western countries, they can use news to create and build up an image of a country, a nation, or an ethnic group. And due to huge international influence, Western countries could also create and build up their own image through news about themselves, like a highly developed, advanced and civilized world, people will always show empathy and sympathy on African and Muslim countries. So hence, news has strong connection with political discourse, power, and international impact. News is about stories and how stories being told. Newspapers are not just passive carriers of information, and news is not an absolute fact. News is what the subject perceives and spreads on change of things and sudden events. To a large extent, it does not possess the objectivity and impartiality assumed by people. The reporters are not cold-eyed observers without any personal emotion. The truth is often hidden behind all kinds of views, but this is also one of the most valuable parts of the news. It makes difference between perspectives and perspectives, collision between attitudes and competition between positions and positions. So in this sense, newspaper has become a place for communication and debating, which maintains a democratic dialogue among citizens and embodies the value and significance of independent thinking and freedom of speech.